Alright, it says I'm live, so let me know if you guys can hear me. The streaming software seems to be working this week. And it also says the stream status is in good and excellent health, so hopefully this goes much smoother than last week. I still feel pretty bad about that, but let me pop out the chat. I'll let everyone say hello, and then just hang out for a little bit. Alright, chat has popped out. Alright, so I'll just let you know if you guys can hear me. Wyatt says you got me. See and hear you. Is the stream look good? Is it choppy? It says for me it's in excellent health. So unless OBS is lying to me, I think we got it set up very well here. But I'll just let everyone come in, say hello, let people roll in. I know it's a Saturday, and Saturday doesn't typically get as much viewers as the Sunday one, because I'm not even sure if some people even know there's a Saturday race, but what is up, Chris? What is up, Dave? I can't believe I'm saying this kind of like Spinhouse this week. I do as well. We will talk about that in a little bit. I'm not going to go too in-depth in any of a breakdown here because I already did that on the, the Thursday or Friday video. So you guys don't want to hear me say the same thing over and over again. So if you want the preview, it's there. We're kind of just hanging out here asking and answering questions for the most part. Chris says everyone smash the like button. I agree with Chris. It would really help me out. I do appreciate that. Kelly says, good morning, buddy. Good luck today. Good luck to you as well. And good afternoon. You must be on the West Coast because it's 2 p.m. where I'm at. But he says, Denny Hamlin, or he, she, I apologize, I'm not sure. Denny Hamlin, Truex. Yeah, I like both of those guys for sure. Definitely have a ton of both. Daniel says, thank you, Chris. You're awesome. You're awesome too, Daniel. Appreciate that. Let's see. Chris says, cash head-to-head lineup, Harvick, Hamlin, Truex, Nemechek, Suarez, and LaJoy, or Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott, Kenseth, Suarez, and Ty Dillon. Well, let's see. I think you need Chase and Cash today, so I'm going to go Chase just with the Elliott lineup because I think you're going to need Chase and Cash today. Sean says you liked on entry. You're the man, Sean. Thank you very much. And Justin says, how did the golf end up last night, brother? I had my money on your girlfriend, if I'm being honest. Yeah, if you want to see my Instagram stuff, my stories, you can follow me on Instagram. I think the thing pops up on the screen. But she had me beat for quite a long time. I came back at the end, though. I finally grew up a little bit and started hitting my putts, and she kind of faded at the end. But I was in trouble early on. She had a 4-stroke lead. It's looking rough, but she's a very good mini golfer. Nicholas says, what's up, Chris? Are you playing Blaney? You don't see his name on the sheet. Yes, if you're on Patreon, I have my GP exposures. I don't have any Blaney today, which is scary to say. It's just, he's nearly 12K, and I can get Kyle Busch for $1,200 less. Or, no, $800 less. Around $1,000, and I think he's just a better play today. So if Blaney ends up getting a top 5, I'm not sure if that's even going to be enough because of the Dominator points, but I just like the savings we with Kyle Busch. I feel pretty comfortable not having Blaney today. Would I recommend you have some? Sure, but I just don't really think he's the best play today, to be honest. He's not that great at Dover either, although he is pretty good at Bristol, which is somewhat of a similar track here. So it's just I don't like the 12K price tag for a place differential play at a Dominator type of track. Gerald says, does the amount of likes equal the number of people in here? Probably not. I can't expect everyone to like the video, but I do appreciate that. Josh says, putt prodigy. I'm okay. I finished, I think, a couple above par. Not great, but it's always fun. Michael says, hey, Chris, bring the heat. I'll try my best. I'll go as long as you guys want me to go. I'm going to answer questions all day in here. Let's see. Wyatt says, also, I won $5,000 and took down an attorney thanks to you. I believe that was last week. That's awesome. Glad to hear that, Wyatt. Hope you crush it again today and tomorrow. All right, hold on. Sorry, the chat went down. Family Man, or what's up, Dustin? Family Man says, favorite contrarian low ownership sneaky play. Wow, that's a lot of adjectives there. Let's see. So some of my favorite tournament plays today are Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, and then Ricky Stenhouse. Those are some of my favorite tournament plays. I also like Matt DiBenedetto. And I think Jimmy Johnson's going to carry some ownership, so I'm not really sure if you want to call him a tournament play, but I'm really liking the Alex Bowman, the Tyler Reddick, and the MDB as tournament options today. I think you can also throw Christopher Bell in there as well, but those are some of the guys I'm looking at in tournaments and planning to go overweight on. Let's see. Sack says, best play 7,800 and under. Well, let's see. Value-wise, just like point per dollar-wise, I would probably say Tyler Reddick, I mean, he grades out as one of the better values on the slate for me. For safety, I like Nemechek starting 31st, but I'm really liking Tyler Reddick today in that 7K range, and I'm really planning on being overweight on him in tournaments today because he was really good at this tire combination so far this season. Let's see. Joseph says, what do you think of MDB? I think he's a pretty solid tournament play today. If you're looking at his numbers at steep tracks recently, it's actually pretty darn good. He's averaging nearly 40 DraftKings points per race. And he's got average finish of 12.8, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s. And I also fixed this. So if you guys are watching the preview video, I had MDB showing up as a win, and a couple of other guys had some off numbers. But it was pulling in some of the Bristol All-Star Weekend, or not weekend, Bristol All-Star Week races, because that's a steep track in Bristol. So I fixed that because he won the Open. So that is fixed now. Obviously, he didn't have any wins. But MDB is pretty good at steep tracks, starting 14, 7,400. I actually like him quite a bit in tournaments. Oop, chat went away. Let's see. Sean says, Heidi ho, right back at you. Chase says, looks better stream than normal, brother. Awesome. I've had this sitting here waiting to go for an hour because I was like, I am not having a repeat of last week. I felt so bad. And Mike says, what do you think of Jimmy as a GPP play? Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, he's pretty much the king of Dover. He's got so many wins here. It's just he's starting 6th, which it's a tough spot. I have a little bit of Jimmy today, but I don't plan on being overboard here. I'm probably going to end up being underweight or even to the field on Jimmy. I was looking at some ownership projections, and it looks like he's going to be pretty high owned according to those, but I actually think that's a little bit off, and I think he's going to end up coming in a little bit lower owned. But starting 6th, 8,000 at a track he's obviously been excellent at. Recently, I mean, not like amazing, but 2 top 5s, has a win, 4 top 10s. It's pretty good. It's not like he's going to come out here and dominate the race, though, I don't think. I mean, he has got the potential for that, but he's very good at Dover, so I think he's worthy of playing today, even though he is starting near the front. So definitely a GPP option at only 8,000. Russell says, Chris, my man. Russell, my man. Also, people that are trying to get into the, not the tournament, well, I guess you could call it the tournament, the contest I was running. So it filled last night, and I had so many people today commenting, wanting to get in. I felt so bad. I should probably make it bigger for tomorrow. If you guys want me to make it bigger so more people can get in, or I could keep it the same amount, and it's ever first come, first serve. So I could go either way here, but you guys can let me know, because I could probably stretch it to 200 people, but that's a lot of work for me personally inviting 200 people, so we'll see. But I do appreciate everyone to get in. So Blake says, what's up, Chris? Who's your higher owned tournament option between Elliott and Hamlin? I have more ownership on Elliott, but it's very close. Very, very close. Wyatt says, so Chris, Bowman or Austin Dillon? Austin Dillon's the better play for me. I like both today, but I have more ownership on Dillon because he's starting 32nd, and he's been pretty good at steep tracks as well. If you're looking at his numbers, the past 10 races at steep tracks, average finish of 13th, was 1 top 5, 5 top 10s. I mean, I think he's going to be a really good play today. I know he's pretty expensive, and it doesn't feel that great spending up that much for Austin Dillon. But, I mean, he should be able to 5x his price tag. If he finishes, I believe, 17th, he'll go 5x, and I think he's got the potential for more there. Gerald says, I'm going to crush your DK contest. 1 visit equal 1 like. Hit the thumbs up. Appreciate that, Gerald. And, you could crush the DK contest. I'm kind of hoping I win, because that'd be kind of cool if I won my own contest. But someone's going to win. Jason says, ice up, son. McLeod is back. No McLeod for me, but I know you love BJ McLeod. I personally X'd him out, though. Pura says, I hit my like button so hard it turned blue. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think everyone should do that. Chris says, Kenseth or Custer in cash? I would go with Custer. Now, Kenseth, I like the spot and I like the price tag. Starting 26 at 7,000, but it's hard to trust the guy. I know Larson in this car was very good here, but he's a different type of driver. He was retired, all that. You get the spiel. I say it every single week. But I'm going to go with Custer. He's in good equipment. He's in Stewart-Haas equipment. Not to say Matt Kenseth's not in good equipment, but I'm just going to side with Custer here. I mean, he's won here before in the Xfinity Series. I think he's fine. Peter says, perfect timing. I just finished your baseball video. Thank you, Chris, for all the content. Awesome. Thanks for watching the baseball video, Peter. I am looking forward to NASCAR and baseball tonight. And what NASCAR is going to get done probably around the same time baseball is going to start. So it should be a pretty fun day. Chris says, sweet PAKC pen the go. Thank you, Chris. Let's see, where are we at? Timothy says, no Blaney, stop the world on its axis. I know, right? I don't really have any Jones or Blaney today, which is not something you guys have grown accustomed to hearing from me, because I'm pretty much overweight in the field on Jones and Blaney pretty much every single week. So I think this just goes to show I'm not biased, right? I just don't like their prices in their starting spots. I mean, I'd rather play Jones than Blaney today because, look, he's 9,200 starting 13th. He's got top 5 potential. It's just that price tag's hard to pay him when you got Almirola starting 17th right beside him, and then you got Dillon in 32nd, and then he's priced right beside Joey Legano and Brett Keselowski. They both have Dominator upside, so it's kind of hard to play Jones today. He's gonna be pretty low on though. Big Gritter says, do you like Kenseth and GPP? Yeah, I got a little bit of Kenseth today. I mean, starting 26th, he should be like a 15th, 20th place car here today. So, I mean, he's fine. It's just hard to trust him. Roshan says, Bowman, Boyer, Kurt, MDB, Elliott J. I think you're like super GPP there, which I have no problem with. I have every single one of those drivers in my player pool now. I'm very low on Kurt Boyer for the most part, but I think it's pretty good for tournaments. So you got Elliott as the Dominator. The only problem is you only have one Dom in your lineup because I don't really think Bowman's going to dominate today. So I personally have at least 2 in every single one of my lineups, or at least 1 with Kyle Busch. So you're kind of hoping here that maybe Bowman or Boyer happen to get up front, or maybe even JJ, but it can certainly work in tournaments. But I prefer the 2 Dominator builds today. But you need at least 1 at the very least. But I think you should probably target 2 to 3 today. Michael says, could this be Johnson's race? I mean, it could be. I mean, we know how good he is at Dover. He's only 8,000, starting 6. I think he's a fine tournament play today. It's just starting 6. I mean, there's a good chance he can move back a little bit. I don't think he's going to have a bad race, though. I think top 10 is certainly in the cards here. Black Power Ranger says, I checked out for a couple of races because I suck, but I'm back. Appreciate you. Oh, you don't suck. Sometimes races just don't go your way. It's also a game of, I mean, you can nail everything, but it's also a game of missing the wrecks, too. Greg Hall says, can I fit 3 Dominators today? Yeah, you can fit 3 Dominators today. I got some 3 Dom lineups. I mean, it's probably not as optimal as 2 Dominator lineups, but, I mean, you can easily fit in a, I don't know if you really want to call Kyle Busch a Dominator, but I think at some point he should be able to challenge to get the lead, which, I mean, you could call him a Dominator. So Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Elliott lineups are pretty easy to make. I have quite a few like that, and you can still even put in a guy like Austin Dillon. You're going to go double cheap driver, but I think most people will have double cheap drivers in the lineup like Ty Dillon and Corey LaJoie, so I mean, it's not that hard to fit in today. And then you also have guys that are cheaper than Kyle Busch if you just want to go strictly Dominator instead of that place differential upside with Keselowski and Legano. We the People says Austin Dillon lock. I wouldn't recommend to lock anybody, but he's certainly one of my higher owned drivers today, starting 32nd. I mean, he's got, 4 top 20s here the past 6 or 5 top 20s here the past 6 races, and he's also been pretty good at steep tracks too. So, and he's been running really well this season. So, yeah, I like Austin Dillon. He's certainly one of the better plays on today's slate. Caden says, who's the top 5 today? If you mean like top 5 finishers, I would probably say Hamlin, Elliott, Harvick, Truex, and probably like a Brad Keselowski or something like that. That's what you meant. Jay says the Dillon brothers today. Yeah, I got quite a few of the Dillons today. Quite a few. Joseph says favorite GPP Dominator. Okay, so the chalk Dominators I'm assuming are going to be Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Truex, Kevin Harvick. And I don't know if we should classify Busch as a Dominator. I think he's more of a PD finishing potential Dominator play. So I'd say my favorite Dominator guy that's starting up to near the front, it would be Brad Keselowski starting 7th. He was very good at Bristol earlier this year, and he's just one of those guys that usually just tends to find his way up front. And I think I'm a little bit overweight on Brett Keselowski this weekend, just looking at ownership projections. I'm a little bit over that, so I do like BK here at only 9,700. You can easily fit him in with guys like Elliott and Hamlin. You could even play all 3, to be honest. So I like BK as my favorite GPP Dominator today. See, that donkey says Blaney, Kyle, Legano, Keselowski, AA. So let's see. So I'm assuming it's got to be Kyle Busch. So Blaney and Kyle Busch. So you got 2 big place difference guys there. And Legano and Keselowski as your Dominators up front, which I don't mind. Then Eric Almirola. I feel like that lineup's not possible at all because every single one of these guys are super expensive. I mean, I like those guys, but I'm not too high on Legano, but I feel like that's way over the salary for talking Draftkings. Chris says rank Suarez, Priest, and Ty Dillon for cash games. The opposite. So Ty Dillon, Priest, Suarez. J. Lopez says Corey a chalk today. Chalk play, I assume you mean? Yeah, I would assume he's going to be chalk. I don't know why he's this cheap. He's only 5,000. It's not like he's the greatest driver in the world, but he's had some top 20 finishes this season. He's pretty much a 20th to 25th place car, and he's priced below guys like BJ McLeod, Garrett Smithley, Reed Sorensen, and Joey Gase, and those guys make Daniel Suarez look like he's in a fast car sometimes, so I don't know why he's this cheap. I think he should probably be right around where Dillon and Ryan Preece are, so I like the discount with Corey LaJoie, and definitely one of my higher-owned drivers today. That Donkey says best raw points. It's Kevin Harvick for me, just raw points-wise, because it's kind of hard not to have your projection system project him the most. I mean, he's led the most laps this season. He's just had the best car in terms of average green flag speed. So raw points, I would say Kevin Harvick. But if Chase Elliott comes out or Denny Hamlin comes out and leads like 100, 200 laps, yeah, they're going to be the best raw points play. But personally, I would say Kevin Harvick, just the chalk answer there. Just because he's starting 10th, and I mean, there's a good chance he can win the race. Let's see. Wyatt says Jimmy Johnson or Clint Bowyer. I'll go with Jimmy Johnson there. You get 2 spots further back, and he's just been great at Dover. Although Clint Bowyer is not bad at Dover, and he's also pretty darn good at the steep tracks. If you're looking at his numbers at steep tracks, he's got a top 5 top 10s recently. And Dover, I mean, 4 top 10s and a top 5s. I don't think Boyer's a terrible play. It's just starting 4th. I would rather play guys like Bell, MDB, Custer, Reddick, and pretty much everybody else in the 7K range. So I'm not too high on Bowyer today, to be honest. Let's see. Gerald says, what Dominator should we be looking at? Mainly, I'm focused on like Chase Elliott, Hamlin, Truex, and Harvick as my lap leaders. And then I also like throwing Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski in there as well. Like maybe a dash of Joey Logano. I'm not too high on Logano. He's not great at Dover, but I mean, only a 79.6 driver rating here and doesn't typically lead a lot of laps. But those are pretty much your Dominators for today. Chase says, Chase a lock on cash. Totally agree there. I just don't know who else as Dominators. Harvick and Truex should be good, but can't fit everyone in. Oh, the humanity. I agree. I mean, there's a lot of good options. Like, I'm playing a couple of single entries today, and I'm kind of debating on what to do. I'm pretty sure I'm playing, like, 2 of the upfront Dominators, and then I'm probably going to throw in Kyle Busch just because he's got the potential to lead laps here, and he's starting 22nd. And believe it or not, guys, as much as we like to hate on Kyle Busch this year, which I totally get, he's not been dominating, he hasn't been winning races, but he's got the 3rd most top 5s. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that Kyle Busch does have the 3rd most top 5s this year, right behind Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. Believe it or not. Ron says, will the Fords or Chevys dominate today? I think everyone's got a good chance to dominate today. I like Hamlin's a Toyota, Elliott's a Chevy, and then we got Harvick as a Ford. So I think I'm not really targeting a manufacturer today. Camden says, A. Dillon plus Kyle Busch or Harvick plus Reddick in cash. Yeah, I would go with the Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch in cash. I mean, just lock up the place differential positions there. And I mean, Kyle Busch could lead laps in this race, so I would not throw that out of the cards. I mean, he's not going to lead the laps early. That's why you pair him with a guy like Chase Elliott or Denny Hamlin. But I think like halfway through the race, Kyle Busch should be knocking on the door to getting up front. And I would say A. Dillon's close to a must for cash. He's a little expensive, but starting 32nd, he's in my cash lineup. Greg Hall says, who are your top 3 cash plays today? Well, I guess I'll try to go from each range here. I would say Chase Elliott's the guy you're putting in cash because he's on the pole. He's great at Dover. Yeah, he makes sense. We get that by now. And then Austin Dillon, 8,700, start 32nd. You should probably end up fitting him in. He's a little pricey, but it's really not that hard to fit him in. And then you're going to have to drop down to this low range here. And I think you're going to take your pick between Preece, Dillon, and Corey LaJoie. It's pretty much just whoever you prefer here. I think Ty Dillon might be the safest option there, but I really like that savings you get with Corey LaJoie at 5,000. Matthew says, what do you think of Almirola? I think Almirola is fine today, but I really don't have much. I feel like he's a bit expensive, and the thing is, he's priced right beside Austin Dillon. Eric Almirola is your tournament pivot off of Dillon, but for the most part, I really just prefer Austin Dillon here. Eric Almirola doesn't have the best track record here. I mean, 2 top 15s, 4 top 20s. I mean, kind of similar numbers here to Austin Dillon, but I mean, just give me Dillon for the most part. Dillon's been better at the steep tracks. Now, I will say, in terms of average green flag speed in this tire combination, which they're using the same left tires from Fontana, Darlington, and Homestead. I had a sticky note just to make sure I didn't miss any track. But in terms of average green flag speed on these set of tires they're using, Chase Elliott was first, Hamlin second, Bowman third, which is pretty nice to see. It's mostly from Fontana because he was just amazing at Fontana. He was really good at that one Darlington race. But then Almirola is fourth. So I think that's one thing going for him. But for the most part, I do prefer Dillon over Almirola. Let's see. Obi says bigger, please. Bigger what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm behind in the chat. I forgot I asked that question, making the contest bigger. Yeah, I can certainly do that. Chris says Blaney coming in around 2% ownership projected. Yeah, I know it's pretty low. I don't think many people are playing Blaney today. I think it might end up being a little bit higher than 2%, but it's hard to fit Blaney in. I mean, I don't think he's gonna lead laps today. And at 12K, you can get Kyle Busch at 10,600 starting 22nd. I think he's more likely to lead laps today. And if you're looking at the track type history for Ryan Blaney, he hasn't been like amazing at these steep tracks. So I feel comfortable being pretty low on Blaney today, as scary as that sounds, because you guys know I love Blaney. Dustin says Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott, Bell, build for cash. I don't think you have to play Bell and cash today, and I think maybe going Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott might be a little overkill for cash, but if you can make it work without like hating the rest of your lineup, I think that's fine. I mean, Bell's not out of the cards for me in cash games. He just feels more tournament-y to me. If that's even a word, tournament-y. Why? Funny. Why? I could make it bigger. We'll see. Obi-Wan says almost got in. Yeah, I know you were one of the guys. I think I said there was 99 people out of 100 in the contest, and I had like 10 comments on YouTube. So I was just firing away, and I was like, whoever joins first is in. So Russell says 100 people. Could do 100 people. We'll see. I could do a little poll. Chase says, Chris, would you consider doing a big tourney where we all buy in? At least if $5 would be a fun to face you for money. Well, I don't know if a lot of people would want to just pay in, so I thought people would like the idea of me just giving it out for free. But if people are open to that, I don't mind. I like doing the contest with you guys. I like interacting with you. You guys do support me. I do appreciate that, so I wanted to give back a little bit. So I didn't want to have to make you guys pay to get in, but it's always something I could consider. Chris Davis says, sorry, I was thinking of the baseball player Chris Davis, and I'm like, I hate that guy. Not you personally, you're fine. Do you find your exposure on Kenseth today higher than usual? Yeah, a little higher than usual. I don't typically play Kenseth. I'm kind of trying to match the field with Kenseth today. I think he's a fine option, especially starting 26. Big Girl says, yes, Chris, do a paid contest. Chris also says, oh, so I agree. Do a $5. If you guys want to do a paid contest, that's fine with me. I don't mind that. Joseph says, how do I sign up for your contest? It's already full, so I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow. So I'll do the details on the preview video, which I will drop tonight. I'm going to be very busy, so we'll see how that goes. But, sorry, my laptop's at 15%, so I'm going to have to grab my charger at some point here. But we should be good for just a little bit longer. I knew I was forgetting something. But yeah, the contest is full, so I could set it at 150 for tomorrow, though. Jay says, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Chase, Austin. Oh, shoot, where'd we go? I'm sorry, the chat went all the way down. Okay, Jay says Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Chase, Austin Dillon, Ty. That's a great lineup. I like that. You got the two Dominators and Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin. You got Kyle Busch, that could be a Dominator, and also place differential as well. Austin Dillon, arguably the best place differential playing the slate, and then Ty Dillon too. Although, what? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're missing a driver, though, unless this is FanDuel. Could be FanDuel. Shay says your mason jar is it is pretty massive. It holds a lot of water. And sorry, I was looking at something. Steven says, are you running Elliott and Hamlin together? I am running Elliott and Hamlin together quite a bit in lineups today. I think they're both fine. We actually saw the optimal lineup last year at the last over race, have the driver starting 1-2 in the optimal. And I know there's a little bit less laps than usual, but I think they're going to be fine options here. I mean, both playable today. Obviously, they're fine options, but you can play both in the same lineup for sure. Kyle Sexton says, who do you like more, Elliott or Hamlin? I'm leaning on Hamlin and pairing him with Harvick. Thoughts? If I had to pick one, I'm going to go Chase Elliott just because he's on the pole. I mean, both drivers have been great at steep tracks. I think they're both 1-2 at the steep tracks and average green flag speed this season, and they're both 1-2 in this tire combination. So literally, we got the two best drivers personally for this type of track on the front row, and we saw Hamlin dominate at Bristol earlier this season, and Elliott did as well. So the two best drivers, in my opinion, are starting on the front row. I'm going to lean Chase, though, just because on the pole, and he's also $200 less expensive. And then if you want to pair them with Harvick, I think that is totally fine as well. Now, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to grab my charger because I don't want this to die. So ask questions. I will be right back. All right, out of breath. Had to sprint upstairs for you guys, but I am back. Also, my dog wanted to say hi to me, so I had to do that too. All right, where are we at? Michael says, did anyone fail inspection? I believe only Brennan Poole did, but I mean, who cares at that point? So I think we're good. Let me just make sure this is in focus. All right, looks good. Let me scroll all the way down to the chat really quick, make sure no one said anything. All right, we are good. Okay. All right. So Chase says, do you like Jimmy or Clint in cash? The old men in cash? I do not. I would not play either in cash games. Their prices are fine, and they both should do well today. It's just, they're just a little bit risky in cash, especially starting in the top 6, both of them. I'd just rather get the place differential plays. Nicholas says, Priest and Ty, or LaJoy and Stenhouse. I would say Priest and Ty is your cash game combination there, and LaJoy and Stenhouse is your GPP combination there. And Jay says, what do you all think about Ricky today? Well, I can put my opinion on that as well, and I would say I do like Ricky today. I like him enough to have at least 20% today. I mean, he's just so cheap. He's only 6,200. I feel like he should be at least 7K, and if we're looking at his numbers at Dover, he does have 4 top 20s, 2 top 15s, and a top 10. You know, so steep tracks are some of his best track types. So I think Ricky Stenhouse is actually a pretty good option today. As scary as that sounds. Chase says, I think Cal isn't a good play just because he has odd history at Dover. Good in fall, bad in spring, and because of his totally off year, better value, but I get the PD argument. I just think he's a pretty good play today, starting 22nd. I mean, I'm just putting it as simple as this. Kyle Busch, starting 22nd at a track he's good at. I'll take it, even though with the odd quantities that you mentioned. I mean, I trust him here. I do. As scary as that sounds. And if he was starting like 7th, yeah, I'd shy away from it. But starting 22nd, pretty safe. Zach says Bell versus MDB versus Custer. I would say MDB, Bell, Custer there. They're all very close. I pretty much have similar ownership on all 3 of those guys. Roshan says it's kind of hard to bet on Kyle. He doesn't have the speed to keep up. Well, he's got the speed to keep up. He does have the 3rd most top 5s this season. It's not like he's been trash. He just really hasn't dominated. But at a somewhat similar track type this season at Bristol, he did lead a lot of laps, nearly 100, and he was an excellent play. I believe he made the optimal lineup too. He's only made 2 optimal lineups this year, and Bristol was one of them. And I forget what the other one was. Was it one of the Michigan races? I can't remember. It might have been. No, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think Kyle's fine just because he's starting 22nd. And Kyle's also, I think, 6th in average green flag speed this season. It's not like he's been terrible. Although he does tend to have a mechanical issue where he wrecks or something. MC Sub says Dillon brothers, so you got Ty and Austin there. Then Kyle Busch, Elliott, and Hamlin and LaJoy. Is it risky playing the entire front row? I actually think it's one of my favorite lineups today. Might be rolling that out in single entries. I like that lineup quite a bit. Is it risky playing the entire front row and being top heavy on the side? I don't think it's too bad because, look, LaJoy's just way underpriced, and that you shouldn't be able to make that lineup. Like, you should not be able to have a Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon starting 32nd lineup, and it's kind of just easy to fit in. That donkey said not a lineup. Sorry, you're all good. I was wondering what it was. Best raw points from Legano, Keselowski, Blaney, Kyle, or AA. Best raw points. I believe, but what I have is Kyle Busch there, raw points wise. Blaney's somewhat close behind him, but yeah, Kyle Busch would be the highest projected there. Blake says, I didn't realize Suarez numbers at recent track history. Disregard the recent track history for Suarez. He's in a much worse car these days. Much worse cars. Now, look, I mean, Suarez was great at Dover. I mean, average finish of 8.7, a top 5, 4 top 10s, made a recent optimal lineup here, but no longer in good cars. He's in that 96 car, which is, like you said, a lawnmower. It's very, very slow. If you're looking at his numbers this year, I think his driver ratings at 40 something? Yeah, 45.8, average finish at 25.7, 27.7 average running position. It's been very ugly for Mr. Suarez. So, I mean, I have a little bit of Suarez today just because he's kind of in the back and I wanted to pivot off of some of the chalky options, but really I don't have much confidence there. Chase says Bell, Custer, A. Dillon, Harvick, Chase, LaJoy for cash. So you got your Dominators as Chase and Harvick. I like that. Then you got Bell, Custer, A. Dillon. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine for cash. Okay, Josh says, okay, for a GPP lineup, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Elliott, DiBenedetto, Ty Dillon, LaJoy. I think that's great for tournaments because I like DiBenedetto in tournaments. And, I mean, everyone else is kind of chalky, but I think that's totally fine. Russell says, Elliott or Hamlin if I had to pick one. I mean, slight edge to Elliott, but, I mean, they're nearly projected the same for me. Wi-Fi Wealthy says Newman or Bubba for GPP. So let me just check the price. Okay, they're 6,800 and 6,600. I pretty much have the same amount of exposures to them today, but I'll give this slight edge to Newman just because he's got better track history here. I know he's been just super slow this season. He's pretty much a 15th to 20th place car, but I'll just give this slight edge to Newman there. Let's see. Ethan says, thoughts on Mcdowell. I'm not really playing Mcdowell today. Like 6,300, he could hang around there, but there's just better plays today. I have like maybe 1 or 2% Mcdowell. It's just starting 15th. This has not been a good track for him. I know he's been actually pretty solid this season, but starting 15th, just give me the guys that are starting in the 5K or in the 5K range that are starting further back, like Priest, Dillon, Corey LaJoy. It just doesn't make too much sense to play much Mcdowell today. Let's see. Jason says, what's up, Chris? Wait for your video every weekend, man. Who wins, brother? Your pick. Appreciate that, Jason. Who wins? So my projected finish would say Kevin Harvick wins, but it's going to pretty much say that almost every single week. Personally, I mean, probably Kevin Harvick wins, but personally I'll say Chase Elliott. Just because I like Chase. Ron says, will you dominate your pool today? My pool? I guess. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean my contest? I hope so. Y says, how do you feel about Byron this week? Yeah, that's like the first Byron question I've gotten all week. He's projected to be very low owned. He's starting 8th. I don't even think I have him. I mean, he's okay. It's just, I think there's better plays at better prices, to be honest. You can sprinkle him in, but for the most part, I wouldn't hate a fade on William Byron. Blake says, I'm FanDuel this week because I'm out of DK money. Single enter GBP. I have Truex, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, and Nemechek. But that doesn't sound unique enough. What do you think? Well, I don't know much about FanDuel, so I do apologize. But, I mean, I like every driver you named. So I would say go for it. I mean, single enter GBPs, I just play my cash lineup. So yeah, I think that's fine. If you can make that lineup over there. Jay says, Bubba might get a top 10 today. He could. I mean, I have an okay amount of Bubba today. I mean, I pretty much have Ryan Newman and Bubba Wallace at the same ownership. So I don't mind Bubba today, starting 24th. That donkey says, do you think Austin Dillon and Jones will outscore everyone below their price? Anyone you like more raw points? So let's see. Austin Dillon, 8,700 below him. I mean, I think there's a good chance he does. I mean, a couple of these guys could outscore him. Like, if they get up front, like Bowman could, or maybe in a Clint Boyer if he just happens to get up front and lead laps. But for the most part, I think Austin Dillon's the best raw projection point play of 8,700 and lower. Jay says, Chris the GOAT. Thank you, Jay. You're the GOAT as well. Greg says, thank you for your help. Everyone hit the like button. I totally agree. Everyone hit the like button. How many people? I guess how many people we have in here on Saturday? Probably not much. Probably not much, but that's okay. Let's see. We are at 188. Yeah. Seems like a Saturday. Okay, Paul Me says, did you say you feel comfortable being low owned on Blaney? Is that really you, Chris? I knew people were going to be surprised today when I came on and say that, but said that. But, I mean, he's 12,000. It's hard to fit him in. It's hard to fit him in. Especially at a Dominator track. Like, if this was like a track with 100 laps, Ryan Blaney starting 20th, yeah, sign me up. But we got 311. I mean, he can easily get outscored from one of these guys starting up front if they lead a lot of laps. Jason says, JJ Yeley or Poole? Stay hydrated. I'll go with JJ Yeley. Yeley is actually the one guy I have ownership on from the scrubs. But very little. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate that. Sean says, talking to somebody else. Okay, Kyle says, thoughts on Clint Boyer? This is a good track type for Clint Boyer. It's just he's starting 4th, which makes him really tough to play. I have very little amounts of Clint Boyer today, but I didn't full fade. Let's see. Palmy says, not sure if I'll ever play Kyle Busch again. Yeah, I've said the same thing like 20 times this season. You're going to play him again probably, aren't you? That's what every single week I say. I'm done playing Kyle Busch. And then, what do you know, right back next week, I'm right back on him. So we can tell ourselves that, but I think we all know the truth. Chase says random, but how about a head-to-head on DK for $5? Yeah, go ahead, send it. I will accept it as long as I see it. I got quite a few people were adding me as a friend on DK and were sending me invites to head-to-heads, and I was trying to accept them, but some of them kind of disappear after a little bit, so sorry about that. But I'll accept any if I see them. Taylor says, I got here late, so maybe you touched on this, but Reddick or Custer for GPP? Yeah, I did touch on that, but you're fine. I understand everyone can't be here at the beginning. I would start with Reddick. I mean, he's been great at this tire combination, was good at Darlington, Homestead. Tyler Reddick arguably had a car that could dominate and win the race. He was so good at Homestead. And then Fontana, I believe he finished 11th, if I remember correctly. So I think he's an excellent tournament player today. Obi-Wan says, okay, he's just talking to Sean. Let's see. JJ says we pay hundreds a week with DK. Yeah, I know. A lot of people do play quite a bit. I do as well. It's just I didn't know how many people play too much, so I was just trying to be nice. But if you guys want to enter a paid contest, go ahead. Michelle says, hi. I'm all ready for this race. Thanks for the help, Chris. You're welcome, Michelle. Thank you for watching. Sean says, Chris here is awesome. Well, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Spread Attack says, when I pick Kyle B, he has his worst race. Yeah, it's totally how it goes. Totally how it goes, doesn't it? Every single time. Michelle says, I always stick Kyle in one lineup just in case. Probably the best strategy for you. JWW says, no Blaney, big mistake. I don't know. I really don't think it's the biggest mistake in the world. I think he's going to be really low owned, so I don't think it's going to kill me either way. But, it's just hard to justify $12K for Blaney. Look, he's had one of the best cars all season, and you guys know I'm the leader of the Ryan Blaney fan club on here, so I have no issues with Blaney. It's just at $12K this week, it's a little tough. Timothy says, my son runs bogey-free PGA podcast, and he runs a paid contest every week, $3 buy-in, and has 50 to 100 people each week, and always fills. Okay, yeah, if you guys want to do a paid contest, sure, let's do it. That way I don't have to pay you guys. The Draftkings can pay you. Works out better for me. Gerald says, any thoughts on Kurt Busch? That's a name I haven't heard yet. He's okay. If we're looking at his numbers at Dover, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Looking at steep tracks, he's got 5 top 10s the past 10 races and a top 5. The thing with Kurt Busch is he's probably going to finish right where he starts. So it makes him more of a tournament option, but not someone I'm really overly interested in today. Jay says, Chase, Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Dillon Brothers, and Corey LaJoie. Yeah, that's actually the lineup I've been landing on. I like that lineup a lot. Michael says, I like Kurt Busch. He's going to be low owned, but he's a decent tournament option today for sure. Obi says, Sean Preston, he's great. Michael, I think you're talking about me. Thank you, Obi. Jack says, is it viable to play LaJoie and Ty Dillon in the same lineup? For sure. They're both too cheap. You can certainly play them. Chase says, we could start DK tourney and tell Chris he has to join or he can't be our friend anymore. Oh, come on, I want to be all your friends. I know you're kidding. Let's see. Sean says, Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott. Okay. Ty, LaJoie. Yeah, I think that's fine. I probably have that. It wouldn't surprise me if I don't have that. Or it wouldn't surprise me if I had that lineup. Let's see. Chat went down again. 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry, where are we at? Jack says, my man needs to hit the gym. He already out of breath. I had to run all the way upstairs and run back down, then I chased my dog around for a little bit. So we'll blame my dog on that one. But I go to the gym. But, yeah, I was getting a little worn out here. I'm just glad the stream's going well. Usually the internet's gone out by now or the software breaks or something. So we're looking good so far. Kelly says, you're the best, buddy. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. PMJ says the date is here. Anyone going to the back? Only Brennan Poole that I know of. But if something else happens, please let me know. But, Brennan Poole, who cares? Father and Son Fishing 101. Fun name. Ricky will score great as long as he doesn't wreck. Yeah, that's the issue with Ricky. I wanted to say Ricky as his original name with Ricky. He loves to wreck. But this is a good track tape for him, so I do like Stenhouse today. Alan says Bowman, Elliott, Hamlin. Okay, Legano, Priest. Yeah, it's a good Gpp lineup. Logano's going to be pretty low owned. Then you got the 2 chalk guys and Elliott and Hamlin. Then Stenhouse should be somewhat low owned, kind of in the middle. Then you got Priest. I think it's a good tournament option. He also says thoughts on Almirola and A. Dillon. Sorry if it's been asked. I'm late. That's fine. So preference is largely on Austin Dillon here. He's starting 32nd. He's been pretty darn good at steep tracks recently, the past 10 races. I believe an average finish of 13th, which is better than Almirola. Almirola is a fine pivot off of Dillon because he's been great this season and he's shown elite speed. And I also believe he's 4th in average green flag speed with this tire combination, so he's also got that working for him as well. But if you had to pick between the two, give me Dillon, but Almirola's an okay pivot. Obi says, who's most likely to crash? I mean, I think that's probably pretty easily Stenhouse. Also, it seems like Blaney loves to crash too sometimes, so you never know. But who's most likely to crash? I would say either Recchi Stenhouse or John Hunter Niemann wreck. Chase says, 62 likes, 177 watching. Come on, guys. Yeah, I know, it's okay, but I do appreciate the likes, guys. Thank you. Let's see. Father and son says, most likely to crash, I'd say John Hunter Nemechek or Sten. That's exactly what I said. Brett says, do you think Keselowski goes under the radar? Not as much as Joey Logano, but I think he's going to definitely be lower owned than the Elliots, the Hamlins, the Bushes, the Truexes, the Harvicks. So I don't mind being overweight in tournaments on Keselowski. He's the guy that always tends to get up front somehow. Kurt says, Byron, question marks? He's okay today. It's just starting 8th, 8,200. I'd rather play Jimmy, to be honest, but he's okay. He's just not someone I'm in love with. He's not going to grade out too well starting 8th, but he's like one of those guys you sprinkle in tournaments and hope he just happens to get into the top 8, really. Chris says, no, do not go to the bathroom. My laptop is about to die, so I had to get my charger. Let's see. Caden says, what are your thoughts on Bubba Wallace? He's a fine play. I'm pretty much viewing him as the same play as Newman today. I mean, starting in the same spot. Probably going to finish close to each other, so I'll kind of just split my ownership on those guys. Chase says, hey, Chris, thanks a lot for the content, man. You are entertaining, informative, positive. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Chase. Really appreciate that. Chase says, how much do you bet per race on DK? So just for like a week with baseball and stuff, I usually go 1,000 to 3,000, but for race day, anywhere from like 700 to 1,000. Or so back when the big contest were $10 for the 150 max, I would do that one, so that's about 15. But they've been going to the $12 and $15 for the big contest, which I'm not going to do that because I don't know, it seems a bit much, but it's usually where my range is. PMJ says, thanks for the content. As always, Chris, as always, you're the best. Thank you, PMJ. You're the best as well. Father and son says, is today's winning lineup going to be luck on who finishes in a high crash race? I mean, I wouldn't say it's like luck. I don't think it's going to be a crash fest. So I wouldn't say it's like a Daytona. Now, we get Daytona very soon, which if you guys have been watching my videos, you guys know I love Daytona. Team stack the back. So looking forward to that next week for sure. Chris Davis says, Hamlin, Harvick, Johnson, Kenseth, Newman, and then Nima wreck. Is that his new name now? I kind of called him that, a couple of days ago. I mean, maybe we can get that as started on his nickname. But for some reason, I'm stuck on this lineup today. It's a fine lineup. I mean, Kenseth and Newman are more tournament options than so were Jimmy Johnson, but I don't mind that. It's definitely got upside. James says, I live so close to Dover, met Jeff Gordon in front of Hotel DuPont when he was in Delaware for a race. That's awesome, James. Now, I was very little when Jeff Gordon was racing, so I mean, I'm not I don't know too much about the old NASCAR stuff, but definitely know Jeff Gordon. He was awesome. And I love him in the booth too. You are welcome, Obi. You are very welcome. Roshan says, Hurt, I assume you mean Kurt, Hamlin, A. Dillon, Elliott, JJ, and Yaley. JJ. I assume you mean Jimmy Johnson. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a fine lineup. It's tournament-y, but you got your two dominators in Hamlin and Elliott, and then the rest kind of fills in. Kyle says, Chris, who's paying you if you win your contest? Well, I guess I save myself $25 if I win the contest today. I guess so. Let's see. Wyatt says, Kurt Busch or Almirola most points? Oh, I would say Almirola starting 17th. Chase says, you ever do MMA DK? Not really. Now, my friend's a big MMA DK guy. You probably know him on YouTube if you watch it. He's the DFS by the numbers. We literally live like 3 minutes away from him. We hang out and stuff, but went to high school together. So if you watch him, we are pretty good friends. We talk like all day in group chats and stuff. So he does all the MMA stuff. So if you ever want MMA information, go check him out. But no, I do not personally play it. Maybe sometimes in a free contest with him just to mess around, but nothing serious. James says Truex coming in third every race. Yeah, he pretty much is, isn't he? But I can see that happening again today too. But I do like Truex as a Dominator. Jack says, can you predict fast laps, or is that completely random? It's a good question. So fast laps are completely random at Talladega and Daytona. I mean, you cannot predict fast laps, but you can predict fast laps for the most part at these types of tracks. So you just got to look at, the average green flag speed of the season, who's had the fastest cars at these track types, who's had the fastest cars at these tire combinations, who's typically getting fast laps at this track the past few years, stuff like that. So I do project fast laps in there and calculate it all. Pretty much just a bunch of averages and stuff like that. Father Son says only one can be the GOAT. I guess that's true. Gun Ranger says thoughts on Reddick. They get a top 10. I like Reddick today a lot. He's actually my favorite tournament option. I mean, he's crushed this tire combination, and I think he's a great option today. I have quite a bit of Mr. Reddick. Michael says the important ones are in. Are you talking about the contest? King Paid says Blaney or Kyle Busch. Sorry in advance, but I'll say Kyle Busch. But when he wrecks and finishes 37th, don't yell at me too much. Chase says if Chris wins the contest, we all owe him $5. That's totally fine with me. I would take that. No issues at all. James says Lawnmower Man for the win. If Daniel Suarez wins, I'm done playing ever again. Although 5% of my lineups would be very happy if Suarez wins. That Donkey says anyone below Austin Dillon better than Jones in raw points. Sorry, I worded that wrong earlier. That's fine. Anyone better than Austin? Anyone below Austin Dillon better than Jones in raw points? Okay. So not including Austin Dillon. I mean, I'd have to look at my projections off the top. I don't know off the top of my head, but I think I probably have Bowman projected higher than Jones today. Very close though. Kurt says, what's your take on Eric Almirola? I think he's an okay pivot off of Dillon, but I'm not really too on him because first a little bit more I can get dominators like Legano and Keselowski, which I think have much higher ceilings than Almirola because I don't think he's going to come out here and lead laps. But he's your pivot off of Dillon, but I really don't love it though. That's the take. Roshan says, no Truex. I'm playing a lot of Truex. I'm just not getting any Truex questions, really, for the most part. But I love Truex today. He's actually one of my higher-owned drivers. James says, can't wait to see Rex in the first 10 laps. Probably all my high-owned guys. That's how it goes. Justin says, got 700 left in GPP. Would you play Reddick? Oh, yeah, I'll take Reddick. I don't have to see another question. I'll take Reddick. Yeah, I'm going to see more questions. I mean, the rest of your sentence. I know you said Nemechek, though. I will take Reddick there. King Pate says Truex or Harvick. Depends who you have in your lineup. If you don't have anyone else, if you don't have any of the front row drivers, I would say Truex. But if you have someone like Elliott or Hamlin in your lineup, I'd pair them with Harvick. If that makes sense. Purist says I'm done with Kyle as I add him to my last lineup of the team. That's how it goes. You say you hate him and then you play him. Kurt says Jones today. Jones is okay in tournaments. It's just I'm not in love with it. Which, again, guys, you guys know I love playing Jones and Ryan Blaney every week. It's just I'm not too high on them this week. Which, watch them finish 1-2 today, right? But, I mean, Jones is okay. If you're looking at his numbers at Dover, he's got a top 5, 2 top 10s. I mean, he's fine. But, yeah. Starting 13th at 9,200 is a bit much. Chase says head-to-head challenge accepted. Yeah, send it on over. We'll play. Oops. There's a lot of people in the chat today. Okay, let's see. Jason says Byron or Bowman. I'll go Bowman there. I know in 2018 he was trashier, but then in 2019 he had 2 top 5s in a row, and he made 2 optimal lineups, which does give me. Chase says, Chris, by the way, we don't want you to think we are ungrateful with the free contest. We just want to have the chance to beat our fantasy. No, I don't think you guys are being ungrateful. You guys are awesome. Don't really get many mean comments here. I mean, sometimes I do, but just ignore them. What are you going to do? Let's see. Muhammad says, what is your biggest hot take on this slate? If it's a hot take, I'll include Kyle Busch. I'll say Kyle Busch potentially makes the optimal today. Is that a hot take these days? Kyle Busch makes the optimal? Father and Son says, must be gone. No, not that. Nope. Kurt says, what's your take on number 2? I like Keselowski today. 9,700. It sounds like simple, but he always finds a way up front. I mean, whether it's on pit strategy, whether he gets lucky with the caution, whether he stays out long enough and it just happens to roll his way, He always seems to find a way. He was great at Bristol earlier this year. He won the race. Got a little bit lucky with the Elliott and Legano wreck, but hey, better be looking than good sometimes. So, yeah, I like Keselowski today. Roshan says, how do you feel about Chris Buescher? Not really on him. I like him as a driver. He's just starting 12th, which, I mean, starting 12th, I don't see. I mean, he only has one top 20 here the past 6 races. Not really a great track for him, so not really on Buescher. Dave says, do you like Johnson? I like Johnson enough to play him a little bit. I'm not going to go overboard, though. Starting 6th, I think there's better PD plays, but he's got top 5 potential, and we know how good Johnson is at Dover. You're welcome, Obi. I forget what I said, but you're welcome. Conscious says, I'm here. Yeah, you're a little bit late. I was wondering where you were. Better late than never, though. Chase says, Chris's live stream is the actual... Sometimes the races are really boring, so I can see where you say that. But yeah, for sure. Savage Politics says, YouTube didn't give me the notification. Really? Uh-oh, that's not good. Not too happy with YouTube then if they're not going to send out the notification. Dwight says, Elliott, Busch, Hamlin. Sorry, I was looking at the time. We've been already 50 minutes. We're doing good. Dwight says, Elliott, Busch, Hamlin, A. Dillon, Stenhouse, FanDuel, GPP. Let's get that money. Don't know much about FanDuel, but I like every single driver you just mentioned, so I wish you the best of luck, Dwight. Andrew says, not sure if you touched on this. Thoughts on Legano and GPP? So Legano, personally, is my lowest owned Dominator. I tried to match the field with him because he's kind of just, I'm not expecting him to dominate here. He's got Elliott, Hamlin in front of him. He's got Truex in front of him. Then you're going to have Harvick coming in. You're going to have Keselowski coming in. Then Kyle Busch will make his way up there at some point. I just really don't see Legano dominating. He doesn't typically dominate Dover. Only 3.8 laps led per race here. 7.5 fast laps. No wins. 1 top 5. 2 top 10s. I'm just not really too into Legano, but I'm not full fading him just because Legano and Keselowski are always those sneaky guys that seem to make some noise at some point. Jack Johnson says, I think the likes to view ratio is because people watch this while signed out and they can't like it without making it count. Paranoid Google. It could be. I totally understand that. Definitely people that are worried about their data. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Kurt says, hey, do you know how they're setting the lineup for the starting grid for Sunday's race? So what they've been doing is the top 20 invert, then just how 21 through 40 finishes, but they added a twist. They're doing the 21 through 40 is going to be like the formula they're using now to start the lineup now, which it kind of sucks because after the race, I can like immediately hop on the computer and make a video because I know exactly where everyone's starting. But now we're going to have to wait for fast lap data, so I'm hoping I can get this soon, like very, very soon. If it's not going to come out soon enough where I know the official order, I might just have to do my best to guess, and you guys can just make fun of me if I'm way off. But I'll try my best to get the starting lineup out quick enough so we can make the video. But that's how they're doing it. The formula for 21 through 40, then the top 20 invert. Hunter says going to Coke 400 next week. Are you actually going to the actual race? That's awesome if so. Especially, I love Daytona Super Speedway. I love Super Speedway races is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Oops. Shook the desk. Chase says, wow, you and DFS MMA are friends. What a small... Yeah, we went to the same high school. We played football together, played basketball together, and hang out. Yeah, we're best buds. And he lives like I could walk to his house. Well, I guess now he's in Pennsylvania for school, so I guess I can't do that right now, but his actual house, yes. Appreciate that, Jay. Blake says, dang, what? You guys hang out? I watch DFS by the numbers from... Yeah, we go to the Y to get the local Y, play basketball. We haven't recently because he goes to Penn State, and I do not go to Penn State, so can't do that right now. But yeah, we'll go to the Y, hang out, play baseball together. Small world, right? Small world. Paul Me says, going to make us a take-all contest, the Pinnell pre-take-off. Yeah, I'll join. Send me an invite, Paul. Jack says, it all makes sense now. You and DFS by the numbers are... Yeah, yes, we are. Yes, we are. I know, I was in his live stream yesterday. Chase says, Burger King or McDonald's? I don't eat either. I'm not a fast food guy. The only fast food I'll eat is Chipotle. If you really want to... I guess it is fast food. I just don't think it's as dirty as the Burger Kings or McDonald's. But I eat Chipotle quite a bit. It's pretty tasty. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I eat. Just really Chipotle for the most part. Got me thinking about food. I haven't had lunch yet. It's 3 o'clock. I'm pretty hungry. Let's see. Mr. Miyagi says, thoughts on Bowman? I like Bowman. I wrote him up as a pretty good tournament option today. Starting 11th, he's had some pretty good success here at Dover last year. 2018 was not the case for Mr. Bowman, but he's a hard guy to trust. He's got a good average running position this season, but his average finish is way off that. I mean, it's just because he gets a mechanical issue, he makes a dumb mistake, or he hits the wall. So he's only a tournament option for me, but he's got top 5 potential here. Chris says, definitely love your free content or free contest. Don't underestimate yourself, though. You can fill way more than 99. Take all these fish's money if you do. You guys aren't fish. We're all friends here. Yeah, if you guys want to do a paid contest, sure. But yeah, I think we can certainly fill over 100 for sure. Because I was honestly thinking we might not be able to fill 100. I don't know how many people would comment, but I have like 300 comments on my video with like usernames. So we could definitely fill a bigger contest. I would drop it would be so much easier if I could just drop the link for you guys and you guys can just join in. But I remember last year people were dropping DK contest links in their YouTube videos and they were getting like banned for a week because of it, because I guess it's like gambling, which I don't even know if I should say this word on YouTube because I might get in trouble for it. But yeah, I guess you could have those contest links in your videos because people are getting banned. So certainly not going to risk that. James says, Austin Dillon 8,700 on DK too pricey. Not for where he's starting. If he was like starting 15th, yeah, heck no, I'm not playing Dillon. But 32nd, I mean, he could get 50 points today for sure. Guy Cash says, 1 or 2 drivers you would play in betting matchups. Sorry, not. I honestly don't know any of the betting matchups. If you can give me a head-to-head with like odds, you can fire it away. I'll try my best, but I don't really bet on the races, but I just played the DFS part. But if you have a specific one, I'll try my best if you want to shoot me a question. King paid a price didn't matter. Would you take Kyle over Blaney? Yes, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I don't know. I have a feeling with Kyle Busch today. I do. Wi-Fi says Yaley or LaJoy for GPP. I'll go with LaJoy there. Jason says, hot take, McLeod breaks. If McLeod gets a top 10, I should probably just never play NASCAR DFS again because I think my head would explode. Let's see. Alan says, Priest or Stenhouse most points. I would go with Stenhouse. He's got the higher upside because, it would not surprise me if Stenhouse just cracked the top 10 here. I mean, it's possible for sure. Let's see. Joanne says, rules to be used for Sunday's starting position. Thanks. I'm a little behind in the chat, so I probably already answered that, but they're doing the top 20 invert, then the 21 through 40 with the formula that they've been using to use the starting grid now. Nick says, Priest or Ty for cash. I'll go with Ty just because I feel like he's less likely to wreck. Chase says he didn't get the notification from YouTube. Just for the record, what's going on today? YouTube's not usually mean to me. Austin Blasky says, not in DK, but who finishes higher overall, Busher or Custer? I would say Custer. Tim Scott says, what's your biggest Draftkings win? So I've won I play the lug nut every time I play the lug nut, which is the $5 150 max. I've won that quite a few times this season, which is around $5,000, give or take, depending on how many people tie. I mean, 10K to first sometimes. Now it's like 5K to first because they cut the contest. But I've won the 10K to first, but I did split with a couple of people, so it wasn't exactly 10K. So I've won that a few times this season specifically. Then I won the Chrome Horn last year at Bristol, which was like 20K to first, but again, I had to split it with a couple of people. And then every time I entered the big contest, I would not win that. Then the next week I dropped to the lug nut and I'd win that. I'm like, it could be like a difference of $50,000 and whatnot, right? But I can't complain. It's been a good NASCAR DFS season for me. I just wish I'd had my really good weeks when I was in the huge contest instead of the lug nut, Timothy says, just check DK notifications on the contest and I missed it. Next time, thanks for... sorry to hear that, Timothy, but I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow, or today, tomorrow, whatever. So hopefully if you're quick enough, you can get in. Let's see. Kurt says, thanks, Chris, for the info. You are welcome, Kurt. Thank you for coming by. Skate Perez says, how did you gain a bankroll to play that much? Any advice appreciated? I just won some tournaments. I mean, a couple of years ago, I'm just playing like $10, $5 contests, just hoping for the best. And then I won the Chrome Horn, and that was like big boost. And then I did the YouTube stuff now, and you get paid on YouTube, and then the Patreon. Really, really appreciate the Patreon supporters. I mean, I really do appreciate that, so that helps the bankroll too as well. Yeah, due to you guys, and just got some nice hits on DraftKings, so I've been able to play more now. But you gotta be smart though. I mean, you can't just play everything you win for sure. Let's see. Miami says... I'm sorry. Hold on. The chat went down. Okay, Miami Dolphins says Kenseth or Reddick for GPP. I'll go with Reddick there. I think Reddick's a really strong tournament play today. And because I keep saying his name, just be ready for a 30th place flat tire finish. Okay. Couch Scout says, imagine making so much money in DFS you could quit eating fast food. Fast food's good though. I don't eat Burger King and McDonald's, but it is pretty tasty. And I think I had a bite of a Whopper recently, which it did taste good. But I do like Chipotle. Chipotle is very good. It's also expensive though. It's like $10 for a bowl now. And they always make fun of me, or not make fun of me, but they give me a weird look because I walk into Chipotle, everyone gets the guacamole, the cheese. I just walk in, I say double chicken and rice, brown rice, and that's it. It's like the most plain bowl ever, and I got to pay $10 for it. But the seasoning's so good. Guy Cash says, I went to school and grew up with Hamlin. We had a good time. Really? That is awesome. That is very cool. Any Hamlin stories, feel free to let me know. It's pretty cool. Jay says, when are you coming to Pittsburgh to watch the race and drink some beer? I have no idea. I don't drink, so I'll take some waters. As you guys can see, you guys know I smash my waters down. But I'm not sure if I'll ever be going to I've gone to Pittsburgh Airport, nice place, but it's pretty much, I don't know if I'll ever be in Pittsburgh, but we'll see. Escape Press says Almirola GPP. Yeah, he's fine GPP. He's your pivot off of Dillon. You could play both, but he's your pivot off of Dillon today. Philip Newton says, what's your top 2 studs for today? Hamlin Elliott. If you're just going by my ownership, Hamlin Elliott. Oh, you're welcome, Gary. No problem at all. Chase says, the difference between NASCAR and hockey is in hockey, the fans have teeth and the players don't. It's funny. Crickets chirp as well. Roshan says, Ty or Suarez or Priest, which one? I'll go Ty there. Patrick says, I'm new. Welcome in, Patrick. You're no longer new because you're now on the channel. Let's see. That donkey says, I'm only deposited $5 ever and I'm up almost $300 watching your NASCAR and baseball videos. That's awesome. That's amazing ROI. Like, people might say $300 is not a lot, but you only deposited $5. That's pretty darn good. Hope you keep that up. Steve Claflin, I think it's how your name. Say your name. How did you do with the I don't play Xfinity or trucks. I just completely just don't do that. I would do content for it if I did, but I got to do baseball too. I got to do football when that comes around. It's just like, I'll stick with the cup. I'll stick with what I know. It would take me a while to get used to all the Xfinity drivers. Like, I'll see some stuff. I keep up on some things. Like, I know, guys in there, but for the most part, I just stick with the cup. And I'm not going to try to do some extra Xfinity series just to throw out some content that I have no idea what I'm talking about, So I'll just stick with the cup. Kobe says, Harvick Are Truex? That's a good question. I have Truex or Harvick projected higher, but I have split ownership on those guys. But I think I actually have more Truex because I think he's more likely to lead laps today than Harvick. Tyler says, who is McLeod? Yeah, McLeod is not... the equipment's bad, and he's starting 40th, so he literally can't move back. So I guess I somewhat get it, but I mean, Corey LaJoie's cheaper, and he's got top 20 potential. So I'll stick with Corey there. Oops. Okay, hold on. Purist says, if you start a league in DK, it would make it easy to fill any races in the future. Could I do that? I've never really made contests on DraftKings, so I don't really know the features, but if I made a league, sure, yeah, if it makes it easier for me. Patrick says, I'm going to do a lineup on FanDuel. I'm new to NASCAR DFS. I don't play FanDuel, so I do apologize. I'm probably not the best starting point to you because I don't know all the salaries and I'm not too familiar with the scoring. If anyone here is playing FanDuel, feel free to help out Patrick and try to help him out because I don't want to go in blind today. But yeah, that's really all I can say about FanDuel. I don't play it. Palmy says, anyone else agree that baseball is the most difficult and unforgiving DFS sport? I love baseball. I don't know. I like it a lot. I mean, it can be difficult because if you play Mike Trout at 6,200 and he goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, I mean, you're just pulling out your hair because it's like, why'd I do that? And then a 3K off outfielder hits 2 home runs. So it can definitely be infuriating at times, but I love it. I love baseball. MLB DFS. Chase says, I agree, Paul. NBA is pretty tough. I would rank it like NASCAR, MLB, NFL, NBA personally for like the big four for me, but that's just me. I like NBA too, but I love baseball. Zagnut says no pre-race tech yet. I believe it was just pool that went to the back. Rebecca says, what's the biggest tournament you've taken? Like, biggest overall tournament prize pool was the Chrome Horn last year. It was a 20K to first. Had to split it up a little bit, unfortunately, because every time I win, it's always with ties, which sucks. But I guess that's because I like to play with chalk a lot. But yeah, I won the Chrome Horn, and then I've won the Lug Nut quite a few times this year. Chase says, me and my friend Jason were at the Kansas truck race last year, and Jeff Burton walked past us in the stands and sat and talked to us for 5 minutes, and then he was like, have to go, boys. Well, that's pretty cool. I liked all the stories. If you guys have stories, let me know. Let's see. We don't have to be serious here all the time. Jay says, water's acceptable, and the boys are welcoming you anytime. We'll buy the pizza. On a serious note, pizza and water sounds great to me, Jay. So maybe I'll have to take you up. And a serious note, Elliott or Hamlin, Chase. Hunter says NFL content when the season starts. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do I'll probably start putting out content a week beforehand. I'm still debating on how I want to do it. Like, do I quarterbacks one day, running backs, receivers, etc.? Do I do one video a week? We'll see. I don't know. Steve says, I don't blame you. The contests are too small. Instead of winning $500 for first place on a 50-cent game, I split first with, yeah, I know, right? I feel like every time I win, it's when there's like a million-person tie for first. It's one of these times I'd like to get a solo, please. That donkey says, Patrick, pick Austin Dillon on FanDuel, very underpriced. Then, yeah, you guys can help Patrick out, do so. First time on the channel, so don't want to steer him in the wrong direction here. Chase says, what is your favorite color? We're over an hour, by the way, so I'm not going to be in here too much longer, but we'll be in here just a little bit more. Chase says, what is your favorite color scheme, logos, design on a current Cup car? So, that's a good question. I like the Chase Elliott black and orange Hooters car. Like, this is like straight black with the orange. I think if I remember correctly, it had the black and orange on it, which my school colors were black and orange, so I just like black and orange back in high school. But, yeah, I like that car a lot, although I think he's only ran it once. I also like Brad Keselowski's white car when he has the white wheels. And then, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Harvick's, the Busch red apple car? I thought that was like one of the best. I also like Denny Hamlin's too. And then Jimmy Johnson's was nice last. A lot of them. I like when cars have a lot of white on them though. I think they look pretty nice. Oh, you're welcome, Rashawn. Good luck to you as well. Let's see. Okay, I'm almost caught up to the chat, so I'm only going to do a couple more here, but thank you everyone for tuning. Oh, yeah, Jason says it, or J-Ram last night, 0 for 5. Yeah, J-Ram was in my cash lineup, and the dude has got like an 8% strikeout rate to lefties, and it's also very low to righties, and he strikes out 3 times. Like, come on, right? Come on. Let's see. He's facing Detroit, too. Michelle says, you're the second DFS YouTuber that doesn't play FanDuel. Is there a reason? I play some FanDuel, but mainly play on DK. Just personally, I feel like it'd be overcomplicating me just trying to remember all the FanDuel stuff and the Draftkings stuff, so I just stick with one. And plus, I've always played on Draftkings, so I'm just more familiar with it, if that makes sense. And I also like the layout more. So I don't know, I don't feel like doubling up and trying to do FanDuel as well, because I feel like I'd just try to be doing mediocre content for both instead of just trying to zone in on one that I feel like I'm decent at. Tooch says, if you were playing $4, would you play single entry and 3 max or 16 quarter entries? If you're playing I just play the single entry $4. What's it called? The brake pad? I think that's what it is. I think so. Russell says NFL, babe. Yeah, NFL coming up. I'm a Browns fan, so you'll be hearing me recommending Browns every week. Not really, but I'm a big Browns fan, unfortunately, at times. That donkey says turn 20th and I was back to check it. I think I'm already caught up to the chat, which is good. Wait, I skipped one. Hunter says thoughts on Christopher Bell. Bell's fine. He's won here in the Xfinity Series before. I pretty much split my ownership on Bell, MDB, and Custer, and I'm a little bit higher on Reddick today. So, I mean, he's an okay guy. Like 15-20% ownership on him. I think it's totally fine. You are welcome, Patrick. And let's see. I think that's pretty much going to be it, guys. I caught up to the chat. We went an hour and 10 minutes, which is pretty darn good. And we had no stream issues. I don't think it buffered. No one. I don't think anything that was out of focus. So thank you everyone for stopping by. I wish you the best of luck. Don't forget, we have a doubleheader, so I will be doing a video tonight, hopefully. hopefully a video tonight, as long as we can get starting lineup information. So I'll do my best there. And then we'll have the live stream as well tomorrow, which the race is at 4 again, so we could do this, run it back at 2, probably 1 or 2. So, or baseball luck's at 1, so 2 would probably be better for me. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for stopping by. It was a great live stream, lots of good talk, no trolls or anything, so definitely appreciate it, guys. And I'm going to head out, wish you guys the best of luck, and we got an hour until lock, so get your lineups in.